All right, so got a really good video today on continuing to expose Victoria, BC for its mass genocide on the homelessness population intentionally, and I have proof to back that up. I have multiple bodies of proof to back that up. I also have evidence that most of these organizations in this city are profiting off of homelessness, mental health, and addiction. Okay, and here's the thing: like I said before in another video, they do not disclose all of the finances that they obtain. Some, okay, there's tax tricks, there's things that they can write off, business expenses, so that they can get that money back. So money that they've spent or, um, invested into the organization or to the people can be written off as a business expense. They can get that money back. So when you see public financial statements that are showing we generated this much, but we had to spend this much, they're not disclosing and they're not receipting everything that they generated, because some things can actually be considered a gift or a donation versus money, that revenue that was generated um, for the cause through the organization. So there's many different things there. You can cut costs. They went from, one of the organizations went from 58 staff to 8 staff. Okay, cutting costs. Food, instead of having to pay for the food, go out into the community and gather food from places that can't sell it anymore from the Food and Safety Health Act, which means that it's almost expired. Then it gets thrown out into the garbage, or the Salvation Army collects it, or our place collects it, blah, blah, blah. They serve that food. Over a period of time of eating that food, it makes you sick. So I could dig into all of their expenses and costs and stuff like that, and they're lying. They're cutting costs. They're using different tax tricks and writing things off as business expenses and stuff like that. There's a multitude of things that they're doing to cut their costs by 50 to 90%, where the money that they're generating, which is into the tens of millions, which I have financial statements right now I'm going to show you, um, where it's not costing them as much as they're saying it is. Okay, they're lying. And also, it's very easy to accidentally, oops, I forgot to put in that receipt for that $2 million or that $5 million that we generated on this. Or I didn't know if that was something that I needed to claim. I wasn't sure about this. Sorry about that. But they never get caught and they never get investigated by the CRA or by charity data. Now I'm going to explain something to you right now. I'm going to show you what these organizations are generating, okay? Charity data is where these organizations have to input their finances, their receipts, their costs, employment, everything. I'll show you right now. So this is Our Place Society in Victoria. They generated $15 million in 2021. Now they're claiming that the entire $15 million that they generated, they spent back into it, expenditure, so the cost of everything. That's false. That's a lie. Okay, there is no $15 million that's going towards the cause out there in our place. Okay, now it does cost a lot of money. Okay, I'm into the millions for sure, but it's not costing 15 million. Okay, and when you ever see something like that, they're fucking lying right off the jump. Oh yeah, we spent as much as we put in. That's impossible, because a business cannot thrive and continue to exist if you were to have to invest all of the money that you generated back into it. You would make no profit, which means you would make no progression, and there would be no success. There would be no measure of success, which means that organization is failing, which means it's no longer in need of funding, which means it's going to deteriorate, crash, and burn and disappear. It's going to not exist anymore. So, if you go down a little bit, it breaks everything down, right? Assets. Now, one of the things says cash, banks, bank accounts, and short-term investments. Interesting. 7 million towards that. I'll have to get more in depth into this stuff. But hey, listen, somebody's lying. Okay, people are lying. People are overpaying themselves, which we'll get into that as well. Overpaying themselves. You're working at a shelter. Why do you need $160,000 a year? Why do you need $350,000 a year? You don't. They're taking advantage, okay, and it's fraud. And they're not reporting everything to the charity data, and they're not reporting everything to the CRA. Trust me, they're not. They're not receipting everything, or else it wouldn't look like this. This is somebody making themselves look good. That's what this is. Okay, it doesn't exist. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you can't generate 10 million, but the cost for that year was 12 million. You don't have that $2 million to invest towards the cost. If this is all you're docking and logging, that means that's all the revenue you got. So where's this other $2 million revenue coming from? Because you didn't report it to the CRA and you didn't report it to charity data. It's not possible. This would destroy that organization completely. That's a $2 to $5 million gap. You're done. You just buried yourself. It doesn't exist. It's false. These statistics are altered. They've been manipulated. And these are real statistics. Like, these are real numbers, but they're not claiming everything, like I said. And they're cutting costs. So this is how much it should have probably cost. So maybe they had 15 million in revenue, and it would have cost, expenditure would have been 15 million. But they cut costs, they cut employees, they didn't have to pay for food. Then they started getting volunteers, boom. So we're going all the way down here. So they're pocketing, $5 to $10 million. You know what I'm saying? It goes down and down. They learn how to cut costs over this time frame right here. What do you think it's going up? Because they've learned how to cut costs. But this is not accurate. But it gives you an idea and a figure of how much money is actually going through these organizations. This is legit. This is their business registration number for Our Place Society. Now let's take a look at staff. If you click on staff, right? Okay. So here's a problem already. Full-time employees, 154. Okay, listen. In 1 year, there was not 154 employees that worked and went through Our Place. That doesn't even make sense. That means that after every shift, every single day, you would have to fire an employee and hire another one. That doesn't even make any sense. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe I'm not understanding this. But the way that it looks is full-time employees, number 154. Not accurate. Impossible. Doesn't exist. Go to Our Place. You won't even see fucking 20 staff members. There's people working behind the scenes. I understand that. And I don't want to discredit anybody that is working hard and helping and doing what's right. I'm after the people that are lying. Okay? And there are people lying. Okay? Trust me. Nothing is perfect. No one's perfect. The whole world isn't a rainbows and cherries and roses, okay? If you think like that and you think that there's no way people can get away with doing this by accidentally not inputting a receipt, by accidentally miscalculating, by accidentally misunderstanding what is to be claimed and what is not to be claimed, okay? I even looked up Bloomberg's here, okay? And they even said $18 billion a year goes through charity data, okay? And they even said themselves, they made a statement saying that it's very common that people receipt incorrectly, okay? They fail to produce receipts. They calculate things wrong. And they know how, these people have been doing this for so long, they know how to do this to a science, okay? They're committing fraud, tax fraud, community fraud, government fraud, okay? And if the CRA or they were to be investigated by Bloomberg's, you know what I'm saying, and they were to have to produce, private, personal finances and their bank statements and stuff like that, which I'm sure they found a way to invest it into assets to make money back, pocket that money. And that could even be potentially described here in assets, because one of the things it said, investments, right? Short-term investments. So you can use money that's been generated through charity to invest into things that will invest money back. You will make profits and you will pocket that, and that'll go to your nice luxurious fucking 10-bedroom house or your vacation in Paris, which the CEOs of Our Place Society, Grant and Susan, I saw on their Facebooks, because they're community public figures, so I should be able to access I should be able to see stuff like that, and I didn't do it on purpose. I was just looking them up, and I so happened to come across their Facebooks. And it was quite interesting that they were taking multiple vacations and they were going to Paris and all kinds of stuff. If I dug deeper, I would find some more disturbing things. I'm quite sure of it. So anyway, staff. So 146 staff. Well, that already doesn't reflect. Well, I guess this is the top 10 highest paid employees. So it wouldn't reflect the entire number of employees. But there ain't no 146 employees in 1 year going through our place. And if there is, then there's something wrong with management. Because why the hell do you need to fire and hire, fire and hire, fire and hire? Because people are figuring out what you're doing and they don't support it. And I also looked at the reviews of employees that worked at our place, and there were some very disturbing things that affirm everything that I'm saying. I'll make another video and show the screenshots of that. This is a lot of work that I'm putting in. I should be getting fucking paid for this. But the thing is that when I was homeless, I was getting stepped on. Okay, and I almost died. There was no resources. So where is this 15 million, 50 million, $100 million going? It's not going to the homeless guy. It's not. I know there's things that cost money, and we got to keep things going and flowing, or else there is no resource, you know what I'm saying? But there pretty much really is no fucking resource. When I was out there, I couldn't get a shower. When I was eating the food at our place, it was slop. It was disgusting. It was fucking expired. It's getting you sick. Rock Bay Landing, same thing. It's disgusting, bro. There's bed bugs in the Salvation Army. It's dirty all the time. Bro, and the reason why homeless people live in such a low quality lifestyle like that is because of going through this oppression for so long. It deteriorates your mental health. And their lifestyle is a reflection of their mental health, okay? And I almost went out like that too, but luckily God preserved me. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Anyways, so if you look, we got one guy over here getting paid $120,000, $160,000 a year, paying himself out of that $15 million, because it's obviously probably Grant, somebody up there, I don't know, higher than him. 80 to 120,000 a year. Okay, cool. Whatever. You work at a shelter though. I mean, do you really need that much? Like, but budgets need to be allocated. Period. And there's 6 people getting paid at that much per year. Okay, cool. You're working. You deserve to get paid, and you're doing community work. So I think community people that work should deserve to have a good amount of money. But the problem is when there's $15 million being generated, and trust me, that means there's 5 times more than that amount. Okay, that means if this is the number logged, it's 5 times more than that. Maybe not 5 times, maybe a couple times more, but there's more than what they're showing, that they're receipting, what they're logging, what they're docking, what they're, whatever. But, bro, somebody's lying. There's no resources out there. There should be employment programs for homeless people. Hey, 6-month program, $20 an hour, 8 hours a day. You're going to be trained and you're going to be taught, blah blah blah. But there is none. Okay, they need to create programs and employment programs and specifically made for homeless people. I'm not going to go to Labor Unlimited. I'm not going to go to McDonald's. I'm not going to go to Tim Hortons. I'm not going to go through the normal system. I'm not a normal person. Going to a college, trying to get, funding for that, it's hell. It pushes you out. You don't even pass the English and math assessment. Being someone that spent 15 years in the streets, you're never getting into college. I already tried and failed. And look, I'm a pretty smart guy. But guess what? I'm not smart by the books when it comes to English and math. And I need grade 11 and grade 12 English and math to do what I want to do. And I can't get past the assessment. So I just end up never going to college. They know this. Okay, this is to a science. There's polls that confirm this stuff. So anyways, this is our place. Our Place Society, Victoria, BC. $15 million generated in 1 year. But we know it's a lot more than that, and we know for a fact that they did not spend the entire amount back in. There ain't no $15 million going into services over there, okay? Period. I'll go in there with a camera, okay, and I will show you the quality of life people are living and the lack that is in that place, okay, including Rock Bay, including Kool-Aid Society. They provide housing, but again, it's a shit show. No sober human being can make it in any of these environments without becoming a drug addict, by being influenced by everything. But they cater to drugs, and there's a reason behind that too, because they profit off of that too, believe it or not. I already made videos about that. These all interlock and interconnect. I'm telling you, I spent 10 years in the streets out here. I think I got it figured out. I spent 15 years in total, you know what I'm saying, in homelessness across Canada, everywhere, all over the mainland. I was to me, I was traveling, but I was homeless, and I got to experience something that nobody will ever get to experience. It is corrupt. The staff were abusive. You know, people are lying about their finances. People need to get picked apart financially. Victoria Kool-Aid Society, over $30 million generated. $30 million in 2021. Okay, Kool-Aid Society does a lot of things. There's a lot of services. There's a lot of different things going on. They got doctors. They got dentists. Stuff like that. So, of course, but just always know in the back of your mind that when you see generated this much, spent this much, not possible. Unrealistic figures, not possible. And again, you can cut costs. You can get volunteer labor. You can get donations, gifts, food for free. Things, trust me, this is a false reflection. If you're gonna look how fake this is. Come on, in a real life, real world situation, do you think it's gonna be just like that? And if they only generated this much, and the cost was this much in 2017, that's like $10 million difference, bro. Where the fuck did you get the $10 million to pay for all this shit then? Where's it coming from? Because you're not logging it. This is the log. I looked on CRA too, and that's a huge amount of money. You would have been crushed. Our place wouldn't even exist from that gap right there. It won't be able to exist. If you have to put more money into what you're generating, then you failed as a business and you can no longer provide services. That's reality. This doesn't reflect reality, but what it does reflect is a figure. And we know that they generated this much, but we know that the costs weren't that much. They've cut costs, cut employees. They've done everything they can to maximize profit and ROI and profit margins. And they're not logging it. They're not receipting it. I learned through this whole thing that some things can be considered gifts. Some things can be considered like donations, so you don't have to claim them and stuff like that. Like, look, gifts from registered charities, 339,000. Well, this same guy that runs this program is literally hanging out he's friends with everybody at the Salvation ARC, and they're all in there laughing and doing videos and joking and cutting ribbons in front. I know that they're corrupt as fuck because I lived there and they were just fucking nasty. And there was no resources. The only good thing there was about that place, about living in a dorm with 30 other men in bunk beds with bed bugs, was the food. The food was good. And I was like, wow, these guys are awesome. Chocolate milks and stuff, that's crazy. And then I look and it's expired chocolate milk. Okay, well, whatever. Like, at least we got something, Cool. Thank you. Well, do that for 6 months and see how sick you get and see how much energy you have to work. None. And you have to pay them $600 a month to live there. You get 30 days for free, and they kick you out if you don't pay the $600 a month, which is the only sober place, supposed to be sober place in the entire city where people aren't allowed to use drugs and smoke meth and do needles in front of you. So if you're paying that $600 a month and you only get $700 a month, how the fuck are you ever going to get out of homelessness? You're not. You're going to stay there forever and pay them $600 a month, and they're going to keep profiting off of you. Okay? This is a fact. This is not speculation or opinion. Now, again, there's ways to manipulate this stuff, okay? Non-receipted donations, 141,000. Okay, cool. But again, these figures are not the actual figures. This is just what they're giving here, trying to make themselves look good. They're hiding a lot of shit. They're writing things off. There's a bunch of tax tricks. There's a bunch of ways that you can manipulate this graph. So anyways, let's get back into it. Over $30 million. So already $15 million our place, $30 million here, which, remember, a couple times more than that. The costs don't ever cost as much as they're generating, and there's ways to cut costs, and that's what they're doing. So, and they're lying about how much they're paying themselves and all stuff like that. And if you look, we got 9 people at the top there. And look at this. Yeah, so 9 people paying themselves at $160,000 a year. and Kool-Aid. Okay. Add that up. You know what I mean? I'm not saying people don't deserve to get paid, especially people that contribute to the community, but like, fuck, a doctor probably gets paid that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is something wrong, and trust me, they're not reflecting the truth here. It's more than that. It's more than that. It's more than, trust me. And they're saying, oh, nobody gets paid this much a year. Yeah, okay, but anyways, because there's things that you don't have to claim. There's things that you don't have to receipt. There's bodies of money that you do not have to claim to the or CRA. There's things that you can do. You can invest into things, right, with charity donated money, and then like real estate or whatever, generate money off of that. You know what I'm saying, and pocket all that. So it's a free ticket to get rich. This is free money, pretty much, that they're getting, and then they're flipping it, and then they're not reporting all of it. Okay, because if I'll explain why I'm making that type of assumption. If you spent 7 years, 8 years, or 10 years in the streets of Victoria, homeless, it would almost kill you. There's nowhere to shower. The food is literally expired. It gets you sick, which means once you start getting sick and realizing that you're eating poison, you have to use the own small amounts of money that you have to pay for your own food. That cuts into the money that you needed to save up for a place. Once you even do save up for a place, no one's willing to rent to a homeless person. Okay? Very little people are going to rent to you. Yeah, you can lie, but you don't have any references. You don't have no one to lie for you on the phone and say, yeah, no, I rented to him. He's a good guy. You don't have that. So you just stay stuck, and you get defeated throughout that entire process to the point where you deteriorate mentally in every single way that you cannot function in society, and you cannot contribute for yourself or produce for yourself or to society. This is known fact. They have this down to a science. They have it down to statistics. Okay? And again, of course, statistics can be altered. They can be generated falsely. They can just be completely made up. Who in the world is going to confirm that the statistics that they have is true? There's no way to confirm the authenticness of statistics. There's no way. Same thing with votes, and there's voting fraud. Well, there's fraud in the same way in this. Okay, so anyways, I hope people understand this because they need to. They have to. You don't realize this is mass genocide, okay? And here's their first and last names and their positions, okay, and which years. But they're only showing up to 2018. Well, that's odd. There's something to do. There's something to do with that as well. Always looking between the lines because there's things going on that you would never expect, okay, and especially from a charity organization. Anyways, Victoria, Kool-Aid Society, Greater Victoria Coalition to End Homelessness. I already know that these are not accurate figures because I have access to a document from their board members only that shows their finances, and their finances in that document does not align with what's being logged here. Okay, what they're giving to the charity data as for receipts and proof is not aligning with what I saw inside of their board members only PDF. So there's already something fucking wrong, you know? And it doesn't work like this. You can't be like, oh, we have this much revenue, but it costs this much. Okay, so where's the $300,000 difference? Where did that come from, and how did you up that to contribute to this? And bottom line is, like I said, they can write off a lot of these things as business expenses. There's so many ways to manipulate this $2 million, $3 million, $15 million, $30 million. There are so many ways to manipulate it, make more money with that money, and not have to claim it as tax, not have to claim it at all to the charity data. Okay, they're not claiming everything. Believe me. Trust me. Or else I wouldn't be here telling you this. The things why would I spend this much energy doing this? I have no reason. The reason is because the numbers and the things that these people claim that they're doing for the community do not align with the actual stuff that's happening in the streets. When I was at the homeless shelter, when I was there, when I was in the streets the whole time, all the shelters were full. I went to Rock Bay, I went to the Salvation Army, and I went to our place, and they were packed full. Okay, this was years ago. And I asked each place if I could just get a blanket then, if they're going to be full. And it was winter time. They said, sorry, we can't do that. But you're fucking generating 30 million. You can't give me a fucking blanket? There's something wrong with this. You're not allowed to shower or eat at any of these places unless you actually have a bed there. The Salvation Army, they're all full. I said, can I come in for a shower and something to eat? No, sorry, you have to have a bed here in order to do that. How? Why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of it, it's like, okay, well, now I understand why that is. Because you pay $600 a month to stay in a fucking dorm with 30 other men. So if they're not benefiting from you financially, they're not giving you a shower, a fucking bed, or food or anything. Does that sound like a non-profit fucking Christian organization to you? No. These guys are fucking liars. They're fraudulent and they're fucking criminals. They're fucking thieves. And they're preying on the weak, which means they're fucking cowards on top of it. And I'm gonna fucking tear their whole fucking empire down. I don't give a fuck. I will spend my own money to advertise this shit. I made a website. I want to show you that too. I don't want to go on too much. You guys can look this up, okay? Charity data, and then you can search up the name of the organizations and see everything that I'm showing you. Okay, well, yeah, they're full of shit. Anyways, one person at the top there is making $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Yeah, okay. Anyways, probably more along these numbers. They're not going to dock that though. They're not going to show that, and they're going to make themselves look all nice and pretty on here. Oh well, we generated this much, but we had to spend this much. Well, where are you getting that? That's like saying, okay, in business, right? This might even just prove that it's a business then, because in a business, I mean, you might have to invest some of your own money, you know what I'm saying, at the beginning, which is going to be at a loss to you, but it's going to generate you a business, which is going to bring people, which is going to turn back into revenue for you, and eventually you'll get ahead of the game and you'll start to profit. Well, maybe they're treating it like a business. I don't know. Because it is a business, because they go out and they build it and they say, look at all the community work and look at all the beautiful things we're doing for the homeless. Please support. Please give us your free labor. Come volunteer. Please donate. Please private sponsors. Government, we need some more grants. We need some more money because we made only this much progress. They keep it at a certain rate so that way homelessness never fully progresses and they can continuously ask for that $30 million a year. Okay? They keep it where it is because if they were to solve homelessness in 1 year, next year, they don't need $30 million anymore. The problem's solved. That hurts them. That fucks their whole lives up. All that $160,000 a year they make, gone. And they have no other way to provide. So then now they got to go get a normal job and stop fucking frauding the community and fucking, everything else. When you touch money like that, you don't ever want to go back to fucking being poor. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are just doing the same shit, but they're doing it off the blood, sweat, and tears of the fucking homeless. Like Vancouver Island Health Authority. Island Health. $3 trillion last year. Okay? First of all, the medical system in British Columbia is the most corrupt I've ever experienced in my life. But it is a medical system and we need it. It's Canada. And we need a medical system. Okay? Cool. We'll leave them alone. But probably not accurate. You know what I'm saying? You can go into staff. See how much people are getting. Oh, they don't even show. Look at that. They ain't showing shit. Oh, actually, I was looking down here thinking, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah, over here. Yeah, only three people out of the whole fucking thing is getting paid $350,000 a year. Yeah, okay. That's come on, guys. Okay, so this is how many employees? Right. All right. Cool. Anyways, fuck whatever, man. Like we know you guys are liars. We all know in the streets. Everybody knows what you guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? The Salvation Army, the fucking worst of the worst. They were the most fucking, bro. They're the worst. And again, inaccurate, lying ass bitches. All they do is lie. I have been there and experienced their wrath. I've already made videos exposing the staff there and the management and stuff, and they're all friends together. All the CEOs, including Trevor Botkin from Hero Works program, was in with the Salvation Army ARC before he even started this program. They've, gifted him money so he could start this, so he could go out and fundraise millions of dollars and then bring it back to the ARC. Bro, 1,392,000. He's just getting started. He's highly motivated out there fucking doing all kinds of fucking publicity stunts to generate income and fundraising and stuff like that. And again, he gets free labor, and he even fucking admitted it because he utilizes free labor from students and university and colleges and the community. People will contribute. That cuts his costs by 50 to 90%. So that means all of that is a profit margin. The difference, I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you. They're all connected. They all hang out. Grant, they're all on each other's Facebooks. Susan from our place, the guys from Kool-Aid, bro, they're all connected. The top guys, they're all just laughing, fucking going to Mexico, fucking sipping champagne, laughing and shit, while we're all fucking out there. Can't get a shower. Hardly can get a shower. Hardly can get a blanket. Hardly fucking getting by. Three meals a day. We're starving all fucking day, and then they give us sweets and sugars that gives us diabetes and makes us sick, which contributes to the machine as well. And so does the drug trade. It's all connected, and I have proof of that. But I can't get too far into that because then I'm gonna get fucking assassinated. You know what I'm saying? But it is that serious, and it is that corrupt. And the government, British Columbia government, is very corrupt. The city council and the city officials of Victoria are extremely corrupt. Now, again, here, we've seen fucking Mr. Trevor Botkin. I already made a video about him and shit. He's fucking, whatever. He's made a couple million fucking in the last couple of years, whatever. And we know that, people are lying about fucking numbers and professional consulting fees. Okay, yeah, okay. Right? We can call anything we fucking want. You know what I'm saying? There's tricks to this shit, bro. You know what I mean? And only someone that is been a criminal understands the criminal elements and the manipulation that intelligent criminals can fucking do. Anyways, so I am totally running campaigns against all of their campaigns because people they're pocketing most of the money and they're lying about their numbers and finances. They need to be investigated. They need to reallocate their budgets, and they need to let somebody with real fucking lived experience that's been in the streets for 10, 15 years like myself, that has a place, that has a stability for 2 years, letting them run the programs, letting them fucking handle funding and stuff like that, grants and all that stuff. They won't let that happen. They already tried to cut me out. They fucking tried to wait it out to see if I'd crash and burn and go back to homelessness. Never offered me any employment opportunities, but I'm meeting with the CEO of the coalition every month for fucking 2 years. But never would know, hey, there's this opportunity. Hey, I know you're starving to death, Cory, and you're fucking just making it, just by this much. And hey, we want to make sure you don't go back to homelessness, so let's get you employed. Like, let's help you out. And people might say, oh, well, why do you expect that this shit is just supposed to get handed to you? Well, I don't. I worked for it. I went through blood, sweat, and tears and homelessness and fucking overcame adversity in ways that these people that are working in these orgs could never. They would never. They would have been fucking dead already. You know what I'm saying? I did earn it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, I got involved with all these organizations. I was volunteering at the beginning. I got employed to them. They switched. They did things that were unhonorable and didn't align with what they were claiming that they were there for. They were not standing true to their integrity, and they were not being honest and truthful to what they were claiming. So when you say something to them about that, oh, bye, you're gone. You're a threat to their establishment. They will literally make false criminal accusations about you, try to publicly, try to slander you, defamation. And you see, me showing proof and actually breaking this down through my own personal experience, I wouldn't be surprised that now, because I made a website and I'm going to run advertising campaigns against them so that way they lose their sponsors. I'm sure they're going to try to sue me, and they're going to have the money to do it, and they're going to try to have me falsely, arrested for charges that are false, like maybe slander or defamation. They might say I'm lying or I'm making this up, but we all know from the streets that I'm not. And this is why I made this website, because people can watch the videos of me breaking down my experience, right? Truth about homelessness in Victoria, all these fraudulent people, right? Homeboy saw me exposing his pyramid scheme and what he's doing when it comes to free labor and cutting costs and then pocketing the difference. And you know what he does? He fucking tags his shit right in there, volunteer.heroworks.com to get involved. I said, hey, if the shoe fits, wear it, dog. You know what I'm saying? So they're laughing in my face. They're like, yeah, so what? Yeah, we're doing that. What are you going to do about it? Well, this is what I'm going to do about it. Okay? They don't think that I have the ability to reach anybody, you know what I'm saying? But when I start, trust me, I'll get the money and I'll be reaching hundreds and thousands of people all over the country, the entire population of Victoria. So here's Trevor Botkin right in the middle of everybody that runs the Salvation Army ARC. Well, isn't that ironic? So when did you start this whole Hero Work Society thing? Well, they do this all the time. They start these businesses up to raise funds to obtain wealth and support themselves financially, and then give the bare minimum to the homelessness population to the point where they're withering away and dying and suffering, and they're lacking in everything, the basic needs that they need to survive and overcome homelessness. Over time, it deteriorates their mental health, and it keeps them here, keeps them right fucking here. I went through the whole process for 7, 8 fucking years. You can't tell me shit. This ain't an opinion. This ain't an exaggeration. Now I'm getting technical with this shit. Because you know why? I almost fucking died out there. And I'm a sober person. Okay, so what is happening to the people with addictions? They're getting chewed up and fucking spit out by this machine. Okay, and they're dying. And these fucking goofs are profiting from it at the top levels. These fucking goons, criminals, you know. So I created an opportunity for everybody in the homelessness population to advocate for themselves instead of these fake organizations doing all the talking for them. Hey, we're raising funds, and sucking up all the resources and all the money, and none of it goes to the homeless guy or the fucking drug addict or anything. Look, fucking everybody's suffering, struggling, bro. So, what corruption have you experienced while homelessness in Victoria? Sorry, experienced while homeless in Victoria. I'm like, shit, I built this whole website from scratch by myself, by the way. Yeah. Anyways, submit your testimony. So then when they click that, it'll go over to the forum. So I'll just do that real quick. It'll go to the forum, and they can write their testimony in a text field, or what I recommend is that you upload a video 10 minutes or less. It has to be a 10-minute video or less, because then I can put it on TikTok. TikTok is not censoring and limiting reach. Then I can put money behind it and advertise it on TikTok. I can advertise it on YouTube and Facebook, but Facebook and YouTube, they limit reach, and they don't want to support you when it comes to exposing the government or exposing corruption or anything like that. They'll limit your reach and think that this is controversial, and they'll call it misinformation, and they'll fucking shut you down and delete all your channels and shit. So TikTok is where I'm putting my efforts, and there's other ways. Google advertising, I'll do that as well, because they can't manipulate that as much, even though it's Google and they're the fucking worst. But anyways, please post a 10-minute video. Please help fight corruption in this city by making a 10-minute video or less of your experience of corruption in Victoria, BC, with organizations in the city and staff who work for these organizations. I've experienced lots of corruption, lots of violations of my human rights, civil rights violations, just altogether just mean people, sick people taking their anger out on the homeless people because no one's going to believe them. Breaking the law as well. They're fucking criminals. Finish your video with a comment about what you believe needs to change and how these orgs, the city of Victoria, and the system as a whole are standing in our way of overcoming homelessness, mental health, and addiction. So when you go ahead and create a post, you can make it a video. Okay, well, you'll have to become a member. Whatever, you can just put a fake email and a fake name if you want. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But it would be good if you didn't, because then if I can build an email list of all of us, we're growing in numbers. So when I send out a video or information that we need, the homeless people of the street, I can send it off in one shot to 100 people through the email list. So at least use a real email. You don't have to use a real name or anything like that if you're not comfortable with doing that. Or if you're not comfortable making a video and telling your story, just leave just type, man. Do something. You guys we gotta contribute. We gotta be willing to stick our fucking necks out, put our faces out there, and fucking fight back, or else we're gonna get bullied forever, and they're gonna continue to profit the fucking empire. This city is disgusting. Anyway, so members. So over time, if we build this community up and we speak through the forum and we provide our bodies of proof and our testimonies of the abuse that we've been through by the same organizations that are claiming to be there for us, their money is going to get cut in half. That 15 million is going to go down to 5. Their private sponsors are going to stop supporting them because they don't know that this is happening. The community doesn't know this is happening. The private sponsors don't know this is happening. The public doesn't know this is happening. They don't believe it. They can't believe it. It's too much to fathom. So they blame the individual and they blame the homeless person. So this is why you need to contribute. This is why you need to do a 10-minute video. This is our only way. This is the only way we're going to beat them. And is exposing their finances and their personal finances and how much they're claiming versus how much they're not. If they were to be investigated, they would be found guilty, bro. You know what I'm saying? But they don't get found guilty and they don't get investigated, okay, for a reason. They also have money for lawyers, okay? So, oh, maybe they made a mistake. Oops, I didn't understand the terms of agreement. There's so many ways to manipulate and take advantage of this fucking uh, enterprise, this fucking pyramid scheme. So I have some of the organizations here. And again, there's a lot of good people that work inside of these organizations that know what I'm saying to be true, that have left, resigned, been fired for even challenging them, management, stuff like that. Bro, there's employees that I'm gonna find, and they're gonna come in here and they're gonna advocate for this. Okay, people that used to work at these places, not mentally ill people or drug addicts or homeless guys that aren't credible. Bro, we're gonna win this time, okay? So I need your guys' support and help. You know, I'm doing this off of a fucking disability check, okay? I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? I got a broken arm. I'm going through multiple health problems. I have to take a bunch of inhalers. I'm fucking beat physically and mentally, and in every way I've been defeated because of going through this hell. So I'm fighting for my life, and I feel like I'm dying in the process. I'm not going to lie. So whatever you can do to support whoever sees this, please do. I have a Patreon. You can go to the click here. It'll go to the Patreon, and you can even set a custom amount if you want to support. I mean, anything that I make or generate, I'm gonna use to advertise this website, advertise this video, and advertise all the other videos of me exposing the city, to campaign against them, to hopefully discourage people to support these places. And when that happens, they're going to realize that they have no choice but to reallocate their budgets and use their money in the correct manner. Stop overpaying themselves. Stop lying and stop hiding receipts and not inputting things and doing tax tricks and writing things off and investing into things that make more money so they can pocket it all. They're going to get their cards pulled. And the only thing they have that I don't is money. You know what I'm saying? And money is power, and money is reach. They can reach the whole community, win the whole community over and the public over through bullshit by looking like fucking heroes doing hero work, okay? And they can get away with this fraud because of that. So, yeah, I'm going to have to be able to generate. So, anyways, I got a spelling mistake in there, which I can edit right now, which I will. But, I did this all by myself, man. Like, I'm not getting paid for this shit. They are. So, when you click support, it goes to my Patreon, um, and you can do whatever. I'm logged in right now, so it's not showing you what it's supposed to be showing you, unless I log out. Log out. But anyways, man, like, you can tell that I'm tired. I don't want to fight this battle. I don't, and I'm in no position to, and I'm outnumbered greatly, and I'm at risk too, because when you start playing with people's money that are fucking real criminals that have money, bad things can happen to you. It's not like a fucking conspiracy. It's not like JFK and fucking Martin Luther King and Tupac and all this shit didn't exist, and some of them got fucking assassinated. But anyways, you can support through these tiers. I think you can even do a custom amount. I don't know how to do it. You can join this one, and I think it'll let you do a custom amount that you can support, whatever. Either way, that's not even what it's about, but it's there if people feel the need to. And anything I get, again, I'm advertising this because this is what true awareness looks like, and people need to understand and know that this is happening. And people are being dishonest, and that's what's causing poverty. That's what's causing longevity when it comes to homelessness, where people cannot escape homelessness, and it keeps them there so they can keep generating this $15 million, $35 million, $4 million a year. And then they can keep cutting their costs, keep figuring out how to get away with not inputting receipts, keep figuring out how to claim things as a gift or a donation versus an actual asset. There are ways to manipulate the system financially through taxation and many other ways, especially when it comes to charity work. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to end this video. I don't want it to be too long. You guys get the picture. I'll get in more depths with this stuff. Again, I need support. I need help. I need people to share this. I need people to share this video. Go to this website, and I'm going to make it an app for Android and iOS. It's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me $25 just to input my app. It's going to cost me $99 a year just to keep it on for iOS phones. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay for business cards, and I'm going out there into the streets, and I'm going to educate the homelessness population, give them business cards. They can go to this website. They can watch my videos of me breaking down everything. I'll add more videos. They can add videos to the forum and any bodies of evidence and proof that they have of their experiences with the corruption in this city. Victoria, BC is killing the homeless quite intentionally. I am living proof of that. Okay? It needs to stop. Somebody needs to stand up to these bullies, and unfortunately it has to be me, so that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, I'm out. Cory Resilient, share this video.